Alright guys, what is going on? This is going to be just a quick update, especially on my computer, because I am finally upgrading something that I have been wanting to do since I got the computer, and that is the RAM. So, I got it today. I bought it, I think yesterday, maybe? I don't know. I bought it at some time. But anyway, I have this here so that it blocks my city. So I got this, the Crucial Ballistiz 3200 megahertz DDR4 RAM. I got 16, but I got 2 packages, so I have 32. This, from what I've seen, is really good RAM. I was going to get the G-Skill Rip Jaws 5 or V, whatever, RAM. But on here, Amazon and Newegg, at least at the time I was looking at it, showed that it wouldn't be here until mid-October. Yeah, it was like mid-October or something like that, and I'm not a big fan of doing third-party. I'm not a big fan of getting third-party stuff, so I wasn't too sure on how some of it would actually even work anyway. So I am turning off my computer right now. I'll unplug it, shut off the power supply and everything, and I'm gonna let my computer cool down for a few minutes, and then I shall install the RAM. Now, I will find out when I put these in, but the pictures don't show that these are RGB, and I don't know for a fact if they even are RGB. But there are videos, and when I typed in this RAM, it shows RGB, but no pictures I've seen on Amazon, Newegg, PC Part Picker, or anything shows that it's RGB, so I don't know. So one of the main reasons why I got 2 things of 16 is mainly because sometimes it's cheaper. And I know it may sound weird, instead of getting 4x8, instead of 2x8s, but sometimes if you actually watch the prices and everything, it is actually cheaper. This was actually about the same as ones I was gonna get, just kind of around the same price. So this is the RAM. I mean, it's supposed to be like up here and stuff, and on the edges it's supposed to be RGB, which, like I said, I'm not completely sure on that, but I will find out when I when I put these in and turn on my computer. Another thing too that I saw, I had the MSI Dragon Center on earlier, and it did show that fan number 2 was not running. It was running at 0 RPM, so I'm going to take a look at that. But I am going to also have to figure out which fan is number 2. Unless they plugged it in to where it's directly connected to another fan, but either way it should read, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've worked with certain parts on computers. But anyway, I've got the RAM. I will record me putting the RAM in, and it's going to be a little tight fit because I'm going to sit down here and do it. So, yeah. Alright, so it makes a little more sense that System Fan 2 is running at nothing, because I tried to point it out as best as I could on the computer. Nothing's plugged into it. It would explain a lot. I mean, this thing has 5 fan headers, and there's only technically four fans in there. So this actually kind of gives me the opportunity to figure out what I want to do with this RAM, and especially now because I can actually take a look at what kind of RAM it is. XPG AX4. This is add data RAM. I mean, it's 3000 megahertz, which is pretty good. It's, better than most things, but I wanted 32 gigs, and I also wanted 3200 megahertz. I was gonna shoot for 36, but I was like, I don't have the money, and I barely have the money for this. But I figured since I had money, I would get it rather than waiting. So I am going to put the glass panel back on, and I will find out if this is RGB. I'm not going to leave it off when I turn on the computer, because when I turn the computer back on, I just want to get on it and play. I'm going to shoot into the BIOS first and make sure everything's alright. Make sure XMP is on, and then kind of mess around with that. And then I'll show the aftermath. Well, there's no real aftermath, but I'll show you guys if it worked and everything. So anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so just to give an idea of everything, my RAM is on here, 32 gigs, and it is running at the 3200 speed rather than the 2666 or something like that. And the nice tuning on the 9700 KF at 3.6. We're running this at 4.3. There's actually something that that is available that you can see in BIOS too. It has something called Overclock Genie 4, I think, and it actually does it to where it overclocks your CPU to 5 gigahertz or something like that. I haven't really done any research on it, so I'm not for sure. But MSI Dragon Center does have a user scenario where on extreme performance it goes ahead and does a little bit of overclocking and stuff. So I'm trying to think, because I haven't messed around with this yet. Well, not much anyway. You can do custom, which this I do believe messes around with the overclocking. So when it's on, it makes the 9700K or KF or whatever go from 4.7 gigahertz to 5.0, rather than staying around in the 4.25 to 4.5. So it does give you extra. And you can mess around with like the RAM, the VRAM as well, and stuff like that. I have not messed around with this yet, like I said, so I've kind of left it off. Which, yeah, I've left this off. Now, when I do want to mess around with this, it'll probably be on something like Modern Warfare or something, but I would mess around with this most likely, just so I can have the max performance while listening to Dust in the Wind, of course. I've been leaving this off because I have no problem for it. I will say, though, this is very helpful. Now, I can do a full video on Dragon Center alone, which actually I probably might do today. But I don't think it changes on a recording, like if you're recording on this. But this does change the colors of your monitors. Now, like, oh my god. So this is default. It's just regular. This is movie. It brightens up. It's kind of nice. Game. So I'll go through each one, but after each one I'll switch to default. So this is back on default. This is game. It kind of gives it kind of like this relaxed, more of a heat type feeling. This is default again. And this is iris. This kind of helps out with like a blue light filter, kind of. This is back to game. This is default. So there's a difference that you can see in all of these. And then, you know, customize, you can customize whatever. But for Dragon Center, I've been staying on this just so I can keep an eye on the temperature and everything, because this is actually something cool too. This has a graphics fan tool, and this turns on your fans at 100% for 30 seconds, so it can cool everything down a little bit. And when I look at it, I do notice a difference. And that's my motherboard. And my question was answered. My RAM is about right there, and it is not RGB as far as I can tell, which is okay because I wasn't expecting any type of RGB. It's just everything I looked at prior, like when not prior to when I bought it, but when I bought the RAM, probably about a half hour after, when I was doing some research on it, it showed RGB for a lot of it. But like I said, it don't matter to me if it does or doesn't, because half the time I'm not even looking at it. But I will say, though, the hardware monitor can be very useful. Now, like I said, I'll do a little video on this. I'll actually start recording it after I'm done with this. But enabling the hardware monitor, because then you can change to whatever on here. But this keeps an eye on your frequency, your GPU core clock, your temps, your GPU usage actually too, your CPU usage, which to me is a big deal. I really like to keep an eye on that. And then your system fans. So like I said, this has 5 fans, 5 fan connectors, and it's only using 4 of them. I don't know why they didn't plug in a number 2, but that's alright. I will eventually too, because this does have a liquid cooler right there. I might change that out and put a bigger one in. So as I was saying, I was gonna change out the cooler. So this is my case. This is the case that the computer was built in. So for the cooling, I do think I thought there was a thing directly for liquid cooling, maybe. Yeah, so water cooling support, you can fit a 360 on the top and a 420 in the front. Because the fans in the front, you can fit 3 120s or 3 140s, which if I did do liquid cooling, I'd probably get the maybe the 360 and put it on the top, maybe. I don't know. The top, you can fit 2 140s or 3 120s. The rear, you could fit a 120 or 140. And then the ones that are included in the case itself. So depending on money situation and how I feel later on with this computer, I might change out the fans. So I like the computer in general. The computer is great. I like the case. I would have liked it if I could have built my own computer, but if I really wanted to, all I would have to do is just get a different case, because that's literally the only thing different than what I was kind of gonna get. I mean, besides a few parts. But honestly, if I got anything new for this computer, it would be fans. So there's 5 fan headers, and an AIO header. So I would most likely do 3 140s in the front. So that's 3 slots already. Now the CPU pump, or no, the CPU fan would actually be connected to the liquid cooler. And I do believe that you can use the AIO header for a fan, for a case fan. As I'm aware, you can do that. So on the back, I would change out to a 140 millimeter. Because if I got the 360 or even the 420 millimeter, you can connect the fans and plug in one fan and have them all work. So that's probably how I would do it. And if that would be the case, then if I were to get it, like I said, I'd probably do the 420. I would do the direct connect and then plug it into the CPU header, fan header. That way I could have actually all fans in the computer working efficiently. So the 140 in the back, I would do the 420 millimeter, which is 3 140 millimeter fans plus the radiator. The only issue I would run into is the RAM, mainly because this computer right now has a 120 Dragon liquid cooler, and the hose is on the bottom of the cymbal. So the cymbal, it's not turned, it's actually straight how it should be. Now if I got a different liquid cooler, I would have to mess around and move it to where the hose is not touching the RAM, but also the logo would be turned, which I'm not really opposed to that because I don't really look inside the computer that much anyway. I mean, when I look at it, I'm looking down and I just see my fan RGB. So it's not a great loss there. But anyway, I'm gonna end this because I am going to do a video on Dragon Center. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Keep watching for the update and everything. As soon as I'm done with the video, I will put all these on my computer, edit it, render, all that stuff. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. I love faces, and I'll see you all in the next one.